Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Wake Up and Live. This is Bob. Um, it's bright morning. The sun is about to rise over my house. I'm in my backyard. Um, so I didn't have anything prepared this morning to really discuss, so I'm going to freestyle a little bit. So forgive me if I drift a little from my topic. Um, Another thing is I had eye surgery a couple days ago. I did some tissue transplant in one eye. It's a little extensive, and if you see tears running down my eyes, I love you, but it's not that I'm crying. Um, it's just a reaction from my eye. I don't see too well at this point for now until it heals, but I can talk to you. So, um, I want to touch on something that's been bothering me for much of the week, and that is the extraordinary pace at which um, misinformation have taken over the internet. Um, it concerns me because there are a lot of groups that are very, very vulnerable to these information. There are a lot of people who don't understand what true information is because they're perhaps not extensive in studies of certain issues and then don't know that certain issues are not necessarily so. They don't know how to verify certain things and so forth. Um, so I don't normally like to talk about what I do, but I have taught uh, a course in critical thinking um, once. That's not just what I do, but I'll stick to that for the moment. And one of the things I've always warned my students about is the fact that digital footprints, um, incorrect information, unverified information online, um, and the dishonesty with the free open range of the internet can put us at this extreme peril. Um, let's look quickly at the misinformation, for example. Uh, when I was younger, we used to operate by what was called a bookmaking law. Back in Jamaica, in order for someone to publish something, you had to have a license, and there was a reason for that. It wasn't any infringement of people's rights to freedom of speech. It was just to say that if you're going to publish something to the public, you would have to be someone who's either trained, someone licensed to do so, and the information is correct. Today, since it first started, I think, with maybe the copy machine. Once people were able to copy information, they were now able to disseminate information a certain way. Um, the then then came the advent of the computer, maybe, or even cell phones. People are now able to publish things at will that were not necessarily true, but it seemed to fit the narrative of some people, so people will quickly gullibly eat up the information, which is of course very dangerous. We see now where we're faced with a situation, for example, like a pandemic, and we can't get people to even believe the professionals. People who have 30 years in medicine, people with maybe no more than a high school diploma or no high school diploma, are able to convince people about not taking a vaccine more so than people who are actually trained and veteran in their field of medicine, or not just for the pandemic, but this has been so for a long time. We see even under in politics, for example, things that are said that makes me want to laugh if they weren't so seriously affecting people. Just the sheer speed at which misinformation can can spread, and now people are in such a state now where they are so receptive of nonsense and misinformation that a person with real good information looks like they're actually the problem here. You know, people are so gullible, they want to hear juicy, gossipy nonsense, or things condemning other groups of people. You know, we seem to be gravitating too heavily towards discriminatory talks. We are consuming those things at a high rate that at some point all this is going to culminate into something. I noticed one of the most vulnerable groups in the United States are evangelical Christians. Evangelical Christians have been duped into, by so many different groups trying to use the face of the church as a messenger for their nonsense that they're spreading, their dangerous information. And so, if you're in church groups where you see on chat groups online, you'll see these crazy bits of information throwing around that I can't believe that Christians actually gravitate to so much nonsense. Sometimes I feel sympathetic to the group though, because as Christians, and I identify as Christians, we sometimes, because to begin with, we believe by faith, meaning we believe things that we can't necessarily see or even prove. We believe by faith. All right. And when I say prove, I mean you cannot say, for example, you cannot necessarily say there it is, or it's over here, or I have it in my room. We just believe that things will happen based on our wish or desire or our prayers. All right, that's what I mean by believing things we can't see. So it makes evangelical Christians especially vulnerable to these things. Another group is uneducated individuals, because there are lots of uneducated individuals around us. People who do believe that they do not need education at all, um, you know, and so they sometimes things are being said and they are hearing one thing and that's not what's being said. That's a big problem also. Um, I know for Jamaicans, especially my Jamaicans, we are vulnerable also, and you can see it on the internet. We tend to be able to, we tend to culturally, socially, and culturally, we have some norms and practices that makes us vulnerable to propaganda and misinformation too. One of them being, we tend to like to come to a conclusion. We don't need conclusion. We don't need evidence, rather, to come to a conclusion about certain topics. We love to talk about minoman or minose or you know say, and they present those things as those as actually concrete evidence that they know things just by saying me know. Cannot, won't present anything as evidence, but they're saying me know say, and that's been presented as as empirical evidence that they know. All right, so so I just want to quickly say it is a challenge out there, and we have to try to learn how to use critical thinking to figure out how to best believe information or choose information. We should be skeptical. I do understand that, but people are actually being skeptical of truth and are gravitating to a lot of lies because the lies fit their narratives in their head, meaning fit the things that they like to believe. If you want to believe that something is wrong about a certain person and someone puts out a video on that, you're just going to believe it wholeheartedly without rationalizing it, simply because that's what you like to hear. And these people producing these videos are presenting them are targeting them at people who, as an audience, a certain people with a certain belief. So it's like certain people are powerless not to believe when these videos hit them. All right. I hope I've made sense. Again, I didn't have anything prepared, so I hope I didn't drift from the topic. So I just quickly want to say thank you for watching. This is Wake Up and Live with Bob, and if you haven't yet done so, please like, share, and tell someone about my videos. Thanks again for watching.